is we use these disciplines to take people into a journey of learning. That journey focuses on 3 elements. The first element is self-discovery, to discover who you are, what you believe in, what you don't believe in, what is your ability, what is your identity through circus. And then to discover the group dynamic, the group, who I am, and with reference to the others, what values I need to have, and attitudes toward with others, respect, tolerance, love, dialogue, all these, because it's all about working together. We need to trust each other, we need to have tolerance with each other. One day I will fall, you will carry me, you will save me from falling and hurting myself. The other day I will help you and save you. And then the third step is the critical thinking. What is our role toward the community? What is our issues? And how we can express these issues as a collective, as a group. So with all the programs we have, we focus on this theory of change, individual as a group and then the community through critical thinking and performing. So to do that, when the circus started in 2006, hey, let's do a show. So a group of young people, they joined, they got training on different disciplines, and they designed a circus show called Circus Behind the Wall. It was a theater circus performance, a physical performance, about the apartheid segregation wall, and how the circus artists will jump over the wall to meet each other and meet family members and reconnect and love and all these values. And that show toured for 2 to 3 years, both in Palestine and in Belgium. And then, hey, we have some skills now. Let's try to train others. So they started to offer trainings on circus disciplines to kids and youth, both here in Ramallah, in Birzeit, in Nablus, in refugee camps, in Jenin, in Hebron. And fast forward, this is the main 2 programs we have. The educational program, where we offer circus training to different groups, some of them children with disabilities. We offer programs for women and girls, because in many societies, if we offer only mixed classes, we are by choice and design excluding many girls and women. So we need to offer that. Then we have the children and youth program, where we offer classes for kids from 5 years old till 14 years old. And then to do that, we partner with many organizations, because it's not our wish to build circus tent and circus organization and branches everywhere. So we go to a community and strategically we build a relationship with an organization that have similarity with us when it comes to values. And then we start to build the circus capacities together, that community, with the partner organization. Capacities for trainers, capacities related to policies of child protection, gender equality, inclusion, so on. And then how to connect with the families and the community there, because you are engaging with kids and children and youth, you always have this connection with the community. So we have the Training of Trainers program as a collective, and it's also for the future. We always want to carry the knowledge and the competences in circus training to future generations. So every year we train a new group of trainers everywhere we work, and we have connections with other circus groups, like in Jerusalem and Nablus and even in Gaza. And we try to build the intellectual component of that. Manuals, research, and so on. So there is some knowledge also. We are producing some knowledge in that sense. And then on the other side, we have the artistic program, where we work with 18 plus and 14 to 18 youth. The 14 to 18 youth are the group who are graduating from the younger group, and they go into a path of preparing them to be professional or semi-professional artists. And once they are 18, they are more ready to take that choice. And then they engage in residencies, capacity building, artistic capacity building, producing shows and touring with these shows, both locally and internationally. So just like last year, we did 100 performances here in Palestine and 24 performances in Europe, in Belgium and Hungary. Today our artists are coming back from Lithuania. They had a performance there. So almost...
How many people does that mean? So your artists came back, how many performers go?
With that specific show called Sarab, it's a performance about the journeys and the suffering of refugees. There are 7 artists in that show with 2 technicians. So it's a group of 9 people traveling.
There's always this kind of theme. So the suffering of refugees. The first one was about the transcending the wall.
Yeah, most of our shows are contemporary circus. So we mix theater, music, dance and circus together to produce a piece of work that reflects a cause, an idea, a concept. It's not most of the time just for fun, and sometimes it's just to highlight hope, for example, and joy. That can be, but not in a way it's just to perform the technique itself. I can do handstand and that's it. No, how to connect the handstand with something.
One of our friends is Abdel Fattah Bashrour in the Ida refugee camp.
Yeah.
And he sends kids to the U.S. twice, to Circus School there. And I'm just wondering, do you work with Ida, with Arawad, or do you work with Abdel Fattah at all?
I know Abdel Fattah, but in Ida, we cooperate with Lajah Center. Okay. They have a circus training there.
And I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What is it?
Lajah Center in Ida refugee camp.
So it's another center like Arawad.
And we capitalize. It's not us who started the circus there. It was a Spanish organization came and they did some training there, and then we went there and we started, hey, you are doing something, let's support you. Our strategic focus between 2020 and 2025 was to focus on Nablus, on Jenin, Tulkarem, and Jerusalem. To establish these structures in the organizations we work with. But during that we also cooperate with Nablus Circus School, for example, and Lajah Center in Bethlehem, the groups in Gaza, and so on. Yes, so to do all this, we do our regular activities. Every group, almost, they receive weekly, once or twice classes between September to April. And then we do open days where every group have to produce something, maybe a small show or a workshop that is offered to the community, the parents, and so on. It's a moment for celebration. Some organization, they call it graduation, but we don't like that. You never graduate from here. And then we do summer camps. And then one element that we focus on is intercultural learning, because Palestine is somehow, because of the occupation, is isolated, and intercultural learning is an important element for youth, for their learning, for their development, for their well-being also. So what you will do if like 99% of the Palestinian youth and children are not exposed to any other culture? You are deprived almost to travel for most of the countries around you. And it's, you need to be very privileged to travel to Europe or to the US. So the demand is very high. So what we try to do is sometimes to host, like this year, a youth exchange. So July we are occupied with hosting a youth exchange with 6 Belgium circus schools. 24 people from Belgium are coming to stay here for 21 days with us, and engage in a meaningful process with our youth, and then also do something to the community during these 21 days. Last year we were in Germany and Finland we send the youth, our youth to Germany and Finland to participate in youth exchanges. And the same on the artistic level, we host artists to perform and engage, exchange workshops and performances with us, and we try to go and perform in other places because the circus is about mobility, it's about no borders, freedom, and so on. So these are our activities in general. We used to do a festival, but because of COVID, now our plans and finances to do a festival is not because to do a festival you need a lot of funding and to pay the artists and their accommodation and flights and so on. So it's a lot of money. Yes, and on Friday, one of our team was arrested by the Israeli occupation forces at the Hawara checkpoint. He was going to visit his family, and they detained him, and next Monday, he will have a trial, so we will know. But previously, he was detained for 21 months between 2015 and 2018. Yes.
How old is he?
He's 32. He's one of our trainers. And he used to be an artist. 14, yeah, we are 13 people working as full-time. 13 people. Around 8 joined the circus as kids. And now they are leading the programs at the circus. So we try to have this model where you...
Is that your story too?
No.
Tell us about yourself.
Okay. But I will finish that part because within our structure, the General Assembly, as you know, we are a non-profit, and we have a General Assembly and then the Board of Directors. The General Assembly, it's open for our beneficiaries, so the youth can join the General Assembly, and also the parents. So the structure of our General Assembly you are once a beneficiary as a parent or a youth, and then later you are a decision maker, and then you can be in the Board of Directors. And by this, we ensure commitment to people, the motivation. People are aware of the impact of our activities, so their engagement is really high. About me, I never did circus. My background is, my first degree was mechanical engineering, but I never worked with that. I studied in Birzeit. First, I was raised in Abu Dhabi. My family used to live there. And when I was 14, I sent a big letter to my parents why I want to go back to Palestine. So they released me when I was 15 to come here and live with my grandmother. And the reason why...
Why did you want to go back?
I felt very secluded in that community as a kid. And in the UAE, if you are a citizen, and if you are not a citizen, there are a huge difference. You are excluded from many activities. For example, I was not allowed to play in the football club next to my house because I'm not from a citizen. And the school system, everything, you are excluded many activities. So you feel, and then the class level, the citizens are more rich, powerful, and so on. So you always feel that I want to go home, I don't want to stay in this community. And this is a very interesting part because for kids and youth, they are excluded. They cannot be active citizens. They don't feel equal, they don't feel belonging, ownership over the place they live in. They will leave. That's the first thing they think about. So I decided to leave and come here, and I studied in Birzeit University, but during my time in the university, I was studying mechanical engineering, but I was active in the student movement and volunteering in summer camps and so on. And after I finished my university, I was lucky to join working in one project related to youth work. And I said, this is something I love, and I started to do that, and then I got engaged in the first engagement for me to be in the artistic performing art is I was exposed to something called role playing, live action role playing, and it's a new concept of playing games where you have fiction, create a fiction as a group, and so it's like theater, but there's no audience. You are the audience as players. And we design games that can last for 2 days sometimes, or sometimes few hours. You can design it, the board, however you are, or whatever you are, wash. And that, from that moment, I started to sense how performing art is a very powerful tool to work with young people, rather than bringing the young people and give them lectures and workshops. You can give them an experience, and then that's a very interesting process for them, and also very creative. So yeah, we established that organization for the role playing, and still running, but I'm more a volunteer there. And in 2018, I applied for this job, and I was lucky to get it. I don't know if I will leave it. No, because it's interesting how, with my background in community and youth work, yeah, in 2015 I went to UK to study my master in community and youth work, so that I capitalized on that also. So now I feel this is a very good place for me, because it's my passion, although it's sometimes boring to be a manager with all the reports and administrative things.
Oh, yeah.
But
different kind of role.
yeah, and in Palestine especially, with all the status quo that we have related to shrinking of spaces for participation for young people and even old people. You have a political regime that is more totalitarian, dictatorship regime on the BA side, on the Israeli side, daily oppression with the occupation, with the arrests, restrictions in movement, and the most dangerous thing is there is almost no light at the end of the tunnel. So what can we offer young people in these circumstances? It's really difficult, and it's really dangerous at the same time, because if you leave it open, anything can happen, and these young people are our responsibility as organizations, institutions, policymakers, whatever you call it, and they are very fragile, and if you leave the space for the others, they will be there. And for example, I went to Gaza last year for the first time in my life, and one interesting thing that you walk by the mosque and you see a big announcement in the front of the mosque. All the mosques are run by Hamas there, and the mosque offers almost the same activities you offer here at Circus. Summer camps, trips, football, all the sports, Quran reading, so the young child, and they prevent all the other activities for the other organizations. So as a young person, as a child, living under that regime, you will send your child to the mosque, and then your child will engage the kids there, and then PPP, long later. So that's one example, but the radicalization can be a path that be taken just only to leave the space open.
Please, folks, Mohammed is ready to engage us with any questions you might have.
Did you say this began in 2006, or did I get it wrong?
Yes,
Yeah, and then
2006. I came 2018.
And your funding comes from where?
That's interesting.
Well, 13 staff, I mean, that's wonderful.
Yeah. It's challenging with the funding because yeah, most of the funding to Palestine, to cultural activities, youth activities are coming from European countries or European foundations. At the moment, the funding we have is from Source Catholique Caritas France as the one organization. Medical Aid for the Palestinians, it's a UK-based foundation. The Danish House through the Danish representative office here in Palestine. The Open Society Foundation through the Palestinian Performing Art Network. And the rest is donations from individuals and organizations. Last year, we had a target that we wish to reach at least 50-50 of dependence on donors, like project grants, and 50% on more income-generating activities and donations. This is more healthy for us. It allows us to do more the things that we do, because a lot of donors come with an agenda and they tell you, hey, I want to do this project. It's 1 year. You put all your effort in that, and then the next year you have nothing. And with our process that we build, it's a long-term process. You cannot bring the children for 1 year and then tell them next year, hey, I don't have the funding now. Because like we try to engage the kids from 5 years old and they stay till 18 at least, for our processes to be meaningful.
How many children and youth do you serve on an annual basis approximately?
400.
Wow.
Yes.
From this community or from all around?
From Ramallah and Bir Zayt, Ramallah. So in Bir Zayt, we receive kids and youth from many places, as some activities are more centralized here. Like for example, when we do a training of trainers, we bring everyone from all the places to here. And then we have like 30 kids are training in Tulkarem. Another 30 kids in Tulkarem are children with disabilities. So we have 60 in Tulkarem, for example. And then in Jenin we have another 25 kids and 25 girls. And then in Jerusalem we have 30 kids. And then we have here and then Ramallah. So this is how almost the numbers are going around. And yeah, next year we will have an interesting project. So 2019, there was a movement in Palestine regarding political conditional funding. Many European and Western donors, they have a condition in their grant agreements that we as a Palestinian organization have to sign. The condition states that you are not allowed to deal with any organization in EU or UN sanction list. And on that list, there are Palestinian groups are defined as terrorist organizations. And for us as Palestinians, we don't agree with that definition. Because for us, it's resistance. We are the occupation, we have the right to resist this occupation. But with the Western definition, it's terrorism. So this condition, we and many cultural organizations, we took stand that we will not sign any agreement that have that condition.
Good for you.
So we stopped to receive, we never took, the same conditions always exist in USAID grants, but in the USAID it's even more, they do vetting. So for example, if I have a workshop, I have to send them the names of the young people on the workshop and they tell me, yes, approved, or that person is not allowed to be in the workshop. So that's the vetting concept. But with the EU, it's more conceptual concept that we don't agree with the definition. So we sought to take money from the EU and most of the EU member states. But we, for example, with the GIZ, the German Cooperation for Development, they offered us a grant, we refused to sign, but they tell us, okay, we want to work with you, but how we can do that? So we went to direct procurement. They buy things for us as assets, and they donate it for us. So we don't sign, but we get the assets. So this year they decided to buy another tent for us. We own it. say, what you wish, we say, Shaten. So next year we will buy it this year, and next year we will start a program called Mobile Circus Tent. It will be similar to this one, bigger maybe, and then we go to a community, put it there for 2-3 months, perform workshops, even invite other organizations to do programs there, and then we move to another community and so on.
Wonderful. Folks, any questions for Muhammad?